my distant fellow distancers, I hope you're all staying safe. I don't know if you're like me, but generally this time of year, I get a little seasonal allergy thing going on. The first sign of which is generally like a little tickle in my throat or an itch maybe. Normally that would not be a big whoop. I would take an allergy pill and be done with it. But now every time I feel that little tickle or itch, I'm fairly certain that death is stalking me. Is that happening to you? Are you freaking out a bit too? Here's a little tip, by the way. When you're out in public and there are people around and you cough a bit, don't follow that with, sorry, got a little coronavirus stuck in my throat. You will not be greeted with laughter. Hashtag too soon. As you know, if you've watched any of my previous Pandamnit videos, one of the unfortunate, though positive effects of this pandemic, at least for this atheist activist, is that the religious are doing my work for me. Last week, a woman told CNN she wasn't concerned about going to a public church service because she was, quote, covered in the blood of Jesus, end quote. In the midst of an extremely contagious and deadly viral outbreak, the selfishness of this woman is truly shocking. And yet, not really. She's religiously religious, so no one should be surprised. But I would ask her, what about all of those people who are not covered in the blood of Jesus? Let's say you dipped your toe in the blood of Jesus and you found his blood a little too cold for your liking. What if you've only been sprinkled with the blood of Jesus? Maybe there was a shortage when you went to get covered. Maybe you're poor and you just can't afford the entire covering. Or maybe you missed a spot and now have the Jesus blood equivalent of an Achilles heel. What if you're like me, a cool summer/soft autumn, someone who just doesn't look good in red? Maybe you think that look is simply unbecoming or off-putting to non-Jesus blood-covered folks. Back in the day when I was covered in the blood of Jesus, I found it nearly impossible to clean various crevasses and cracks. On top of that, Jesus blood can really stain your furniture if you're the kind of person who likes to sit every now and then. Of course, for the British, well, that's just a bloody mess, isn't it? More importantly, I checked the Centers for Disease Control website, and there is nothing on the entire site about the blood of Jesus being a vaccine or having any kind of antiviral properties. In fact, scientists have yet to find a single talisman of any kind, Christian or otherwise, capable of insulating a person from the devastating effects of COVID-19. Apparently, the power of Christ is not all that compelling, which is probably why Christians, including some fire-breathing pastors, have already gone toes up during this pandemic. That's right, another pastor, Gerald O'Glenn, went home to Jesus this week to spread the virus there. He died shortly after proudly showcasing his packed church. I firmly believe that God is larger than this dreaded virus, he said. And now we all know just how small his God is. Certainly much smaller than his ego. Pastor Glenn said, "I am essential." Apparently God disagreed. He continued, "I'm a preacher. I talk to God." And now he talks to no one. Looks like he got a little coronavirus stuck in his throat. Well, that's it for this week, but before I go, I thought I'd do a little scriptural reading. This is one of my favorites from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5, verse 45. "For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust." I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.